Hi, my name's Carrie Overton, and in this week's Refresh, we're going to be looking at habit forming and why forming habits is actually quite difficult. So first of all, a little description of neuroscience, so how your brain works and how habits are formed. So your brain has literally billions of brain cells in it. And every time you do something, it starts making links between them. So say, for example, you are learning to ride a bike. Your brain makes a connection between the physical movement of it, you know, what you have to do with your hands, what you have to do to keep a balance. It recognises the visuals, so you can see a route, what you're looking at, and all of these aspects of your brain connect up to make what's known as a neural pathway. And that is the how to ride a bike neural pathway. And that is then established as a route and a connection in your brain. And every time you do that, that route gets more and more and more sort of bound together. And there's a good analogy of a field. So if you think of a field full of crops, and there's a path that's been trodden down it time and time and time and time again, that's what a neural pathway becomes over time. Really, really well established. So when you want to start a new habit, you basically are starting from scratch, and you have to make a new path through this crop field, metaphorically. And the thing is, the brain likes the passage of least resistance. So if you think of how difficult it is to concentrate on something new, like learning a new skill, like learning a language, learning to ride a bike, or if you're having to concentrate on something really hard like you're studying, you can sometimes really physically feel your brain aching. Well, that's because your prefrontal cortex is having to work really hard. So when you're starting a new habit, that part of your brain is having to work hard to learn something new or develop something new. And there are certain things that can really make it hard for you. So for example, if you're tired or if you're stressed, the prefrontal part of your brain will struggle to work more because it literally takes more energy to use that part of your brain. So I would say tip number one, if you are starting a new habit, there's something you're trying to give up or trying to establish something new, give yourself a break. Check out that it's the right time for you to do this, and try and make sure that in terms of your stress levels, they are reduced, certainly for the first couple of weeks. So, for example, make sure you can get enough sleep, clear your calendar a bit, put in other things that you know relax you, meditations, mindfulness, yoga, going for a run, whatever it is for you, spending time with your pets, whatever it is for you. Plan that in for the first couple of weeks, because you will then be less tired, less stressed, and that prefrontal cortex will actually have more of a chance to work, and you are less likely to go to that default setting of that well-established path, which is that old habit. But what else can you do to help give yourself a real fighting chance of making a new habit stick? Well, it's really important to understand your motivation. Why do you want to do this? And really spend time thinking about that. Prepare for this new habit. Don't just sort of get up and go, yeah, it's Monday, I'm going to go on a diet, and, you know, or I'm going to start going to the gym, or I'm going to do whatever it is you want to do. Think about it. Why do you want to do it? What is it going to give you if you do this? And ask yourself the question, because it makes me feel what? Because understanding the feeling that it gives you will tell you something about yourself. And it may not be straightforward to understand straight away, but, you know, I want to go to the gym every day. Well, why? What does it give you? What will it make you feel? Well, it will make me feel stronger. It will make me feel more confident. Understand what it is that you want, what your why is. And once you've established that, think about, there's a push and a pull. So motivation in most things we do, the push is an away from, I don't want to be like this, and the pull is I want to be like that. So try and understand what your pull is, because our brain will keep going back to the negative if we only focus on what you don't want. So try and reframe what you want in a positive way. So rather than saying something like, I want to lose weight, or I want to stop doing this, again, focus on that gain. I want to gain this. And then you've got that understanding because you've done it because it makes me feel strong, confident, whatever it is. You're really focusing on all the positives, because when you are setting a new habit in place and you're having to establish it new, that motivation of what you want to feel and how you want to get that move towards, that pull, will help you more than that what you're trying to get away from. And then the final thing to really think about is gain and loss. Whenever you start a new habit, wherever you try and instigate change, you're going to have to give something up, something that's comfortable, something that is familiar. And it's worth spending time understanding, why do I do this? What do I get from this thing that I'm trying to change? So you understand it. And then think of making your peace with that. So if I want to establish this new habit, I am going to have to give up and sacrifice something else. I want to go for a run every day. I'm going to have to give up a lie-in. I want to get strong and fit and healthy. I might have to give up having pizza every night, or a takeaway, or eating 5 bars of chocolate a day. Understand, really think about that loss and make your peace with it. Are you comfortable giving it up? Do you need to do a bit of work on why that's important to you? And that's where coaching can come in useful. Why are you relying on that? Sometimes habits don't stick because actually we're more comfortable in that place, in that old habit. So that combination of knowing the neuroscience, preparing for that, what you want, understanding why, what's your pull, what are you moving towards, and making your peace with what you're going to give up can really help you succeed on the way. Other quick strategies that are really useful to try: visualization. All major athletes, performers, musicians visualize themselves succeeding, and it's a really, really powerful tool. So I definitely recommend spending time visualizing that, and also anticipate where you might go wrong, sort of identify and plan for obstacles. So if you know that, for example, you're trying to stop smoking, every time you get in your car or every time you have a drink you're tempted to smoke, plan to have something in place to mitigate that. If you always drink when you always smoke when you drink, for the next 2 weeks, could you not drink, just to give you that fighting chance? Or if every time you get in the car you have a cigarette, what can you replace that with just in that interim to give you a bit of a boost? I'm going to get in the car. I know of someone who every time they got in the car, instead of smoking, they had a lolly. And okay, it may not be a long-term healthy habit, but they had something that helped them get through that challenge in the first couple of weeks. So I hope that that's been useful for you. Don't be too hard on yourself if you find setting a new habit difficult. It is a challenge. You're literally making that new path through your mind. So if you fall down, if it goes wrong, remind yourself of that. Okay, I've gone back on the normal path, the old path, but I can and I will establish that new path. It just takes a little bit of time to get there. So I hope that's been useful, and I'll see you soon. Bye.